you ever thought, I just don't feel like waking up. I'd rather stay in here in bed all day today instead of going to care for my kids or to go to my job and care for others at my job. And I just need to care for me. And I don't know how else to do it, but to stay in this bed and not wake up. Or you do wake up and then you're just so fatigued and everything is tired and exhausted. Your mental space, your emotions, your body, that is where this mom was. She was in complete burnout. And then she entered the Bold Blueprint, which is my 6-month group coaching program. She's going to share with you why she joined, how she possibly did it when she was in burnout and had lots of things to take care of, lots of responsibilities, many hats to wear, how she found the time to do the Bold Blueprint, and most importantly, the transformation that she saw. I know you're going to relate to this story. I know you're going to relate to this mom, and it's going to breathe hope into you, into your weary soul. Let's go. Hey mama, are you overwhelmed by your full, blessed life? Do you feel stuck in the messy, mundane middle? Then I'm so glad you're here to take a breath. Hey, I'm Shan, RN, holistic wellness coach, and a mom to 4 that went from perfectionism, control, and lots of anxiety to intentionally living through simple solutions and so much peace. If you are done with the stressed out life, hot mess express type of motherhood, then heat up that coffee again and let's live holistically well in the middle. Let's go. Okay, so today I am so excited because you get to directly hear from one of the Bold Blueprint moms. This is my 6-month group coaching program that I'm just so passionate about because it's really my story, and it's a program that it's a blueprint that God gave me to change my life for peace and freedom. And now I get to share it with others. And so I know it's one thing to hear me talk about this program and the lives that it's changed, but it's another to hear the real honest story of students, friends, women that are in it, walking it out in their everyday caregiving journey. So Renee is a mom to 4, wife of 11 years, I believe.
Yes.
And a woman of many hats. She has a lot of trades that she likes to dabble in because she has lots of gifts and talents and abilities. And so, Renee, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
All right.
Very excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. I'm excited that you are willing to do this. I would like to know, and I think the listeners would like to know, when you first joined the Bold Blueprint, what was life like for you? Describe a little bit of what you were struggling with as a mom, as a wife, as a human being. Where was your life at that time?
So life for me was very hectic. I was trying to keep up with all of the things that had to be done in a day, in a week, and just in life. And it was stressful. It was overwhelming, with all these outsourced things that I liked to do. I was trying to, that's where I would kind of stay connected to myself and who I was before marriage and kids and all that kind of stuff. But it was really hard to balance it. I was burnt out for years. I was waking up every day, just kind of dreading the day. I wanted to stay in bed. I didn't want to get out. I didn't want to have to do all of the things. I was just sort of angry with life. It didn't turn out the way that we dreamt and planned when we first got started. And so I think in order to answer this question appropriately, I think I would like to give a little bit of a backstory. I think it's important to know maybe how I got to where I was, how I got to all those feelings of being overwhelmed, being burnt out, being stressed out, feeling like a failure in being a mom and a wife and all those things. So my husband and I got married, and the day before we got married, we bought a house. It was going to be our dream home. We both had these, like I said, I love to DIY. He's the same. He loves to build. So we bought this fixer-upper, and it was going to be, we were going to turn it into this wonderful home that we would fill with children. And it was our dream, right? So life's going to be perfect. And so we got started on the renovation soon after we got married. And then I got pregnant soon after, but I didn't let that slow me down. I was still all in it. I was ready. I was pulling up floors. I was taking down walls, even pregnant, all the way up until she was born. As you know, with any renovation, you think you know what you're getting into. And then you quickly realize it's a lot more work than you expected. Well, it was even more work than we expected. It was crazy. So here I am pregnant We have this new little baby. During the renovation, we sold the home that we were currently living in. So now we have a house that is torn apart, a brand new baby, and nowhere to live. We came home from the hospital and we moved into a 30-foot RV for the first 6 months, and we were still renoing. After about 6 months, we decided to move in to our reno. That probably we should have done. It was still life under construction, and with a little baby, it was very stressful because you worry about how safe is it going to be. And we moved into, just to give you an idea, we moved into a 14 by 30 room, which served as our everything: bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, living room, playroom. And all the while trying to do this renovation, we are slowly seeing our dream we don't see it on the horizon anymore. We're like, when is this going to get done? When are we going to build this home? My husband's working all the time. We're trying to do this work all on our own, trying to do it ourselves. We didn't hire anybody. And if it wasn't chaotic enough, let's just add to the madness. He is working a lot to try and afford this renovation and to build this dream that we both kind of dreamt up together. The renovation ended up taking about 6 years to get all the big things done. And during the renovation, COVID hits. Now we're at another standstill because all the appliances and all the tools that we're going to need, everything's on back order. Everything's like taking months to get in. And so now I'm here living in this construction zone with a little baby. In fact, so within those 6 years, I had 4 babies within 6 years while trying to do a full home renovation. And I like to joke that the house would never have gotten done if I had never gotten pregnant, because with each kid, I would say, I'm not bringing this baby home until I have a bathroom, or I'm not bringing this baby home until I have a kitchen. I'm not, so I was joking, yes, but not entirely. I meant those things. We just wanted our home to be safe. We wanted a safe place for our kids and to live and to thrive. And because it was taking so much longer than we expected, my husband and I were both, struggling with our own emotions with it. He's working really hard to try to make this happen, and he's feeling like he's failing in that, or he feels like he's never home. I'm home alone with 4 babies. I feel like I'm doing this all on my own. I mean, raising kids and that many kids in that span of time is hard enough. But when you do it under the conditions that we were living in, I'm worried every day about their safety. I'm worried every day that we're giving them the best life that they can have. Are they thriving? Are they growing the way that they're supposed to? My resentment's growing because I feel like I'm always home alone and doing it on my own. My husband's never home. I started to really feel sorry for myself and the situation that I was in. And so I couldn't even really see what he was going through. We did get our home eventually to a point where I felt like I was comfortable and safe, and we were living in it, and the kids were doing great. And, but I still had these feelings I hadn't dealt with, right? Resentment, guilt, failure as a mom and as a wife. And so I had never dealt with those feelings. I didn't communicate them very well. So they just kind of grew. And that's where I was before I started the Bold community. I felt like life was just so chaotic, and I was always so angry. And I would look in the mirror. I would kind of like take an inward look at myself, and I'd say, I don't even know who I am. Like, this is not me. I am not this person. All these emotions and these feelings I'm having. I mean, this is not me. And this is not the person. This is not the mom. This is not the wife that I want to be. But I was so burnt out, so mentally, physically exhausted. I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
How do I change this?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you even using those words, burnt out. A lot of people don't even know that they're there, but you got to the point, well, it was like 6 years where you were like, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being real and sharing all that. I know so many moms listening are nodding their heads right now at some of those feelings that you shared, resentment, anger, just feeling like they're doing it all on their own. Even if they didn't have that same dream, even if they didn't have 4 kids in 6 years during a full house renovation. Those were wild times. What I love that you did point out is that you and your husband had dreams. You had the dream of a life with this house and it filled with kids, like you said, but then you felt stuck in the stress of the dream. Sometimes our dream is bigger than we can figure out on our own, and we need God's help.
Absolutely.
But it's just like one baby step at a time to get to the dream. And then stress comes, life comes, the stressors come, COVID comes. And then you're like, but wait, I have this dream. And so I think part of it, the stress of it was being stuck in not moving forward. And a lot of people would say, well, then oh, well, now my
Yeah.
dream is gone. I'm never going to have that dream. But instead, you guys kept pushing forward to the point where now you're in burnout. And now you're like, now what do I do?
Yes.
Another
Yeah.
problem, right?
Yeah. I feel like there
So,
was a lot of unmet expectations there. And because we didn't kind of trust in God at the time to say, well, maybe he's got a different plan
yeah.
and maybe it looks different. No, we were stubborn and we kept going and we kept pushing for that dream to become a reality. And yeah,
Yeah. But, you learned a
that's
lot.
life. Yeah,
You learned a
absolutely.
lot.
Yeah.
So, once you entered the bold blueprint, so obviously you entered because you were in burnout and
Hmm.
you heard this solution for burnout and you were like, okay, I don't know what else to do. So let's join the program.
Right.
What is the biggest shift or transformation you experienced in the program, if you can sum that up? Hey, sweet caregiver, I have a quick question for you. Are you running on empty and not sure if it's burnout? Are you so exhausted, fatigued, and don't even have time to wonder if you're in burnout? Or maybe you're in burnout, but you can't get out. For me, I didn't know. I questioned that, but same thing. I just didn't have time to figure it out. So I created a fun, free quiz called Am I in Burnout? It's short, eye-opening, and it'll give you the personalized next steps to move from survival mode into peaceful, purposeful living. You don't have to guess anymore. You don't have to wonder. You'll know exactly where you stand on the burnout spectrum and how to get out of it. And I'm going to be there right along the way with you. Take the quiz today at theshanwright.com/quiz. Go discover if you're in burnout or you're headed there fast. Take 5 minutes so you can start living in your peace. Again, that's www.theshanwright.com/quiz.
I could answer that question in so many different ways. I was sort of familiar with the things that you talked about, like whole body wellness. And I knew I needed something that was going to help guide me because I had no idea what to do. So probably the biggest shift would be within my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I joined because I knew I wanted a heart change.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted my spiritual wellness above all other wellness areas. I wanted that to be fixed because I knew if I got that right, the other relationships that I hold dear in my life would also grow.
Mm-hmm.
Another reason I started this program was because I felt like a failure with my husband and with my kids. Growing my relationship with God and pouring my heart out to him, I started asking him, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do with these relationships? Like, how do I steward them the way that you've called me to steward them? He told me with my husband, you need to listen. I said earlier, I was in a place of feeling sorry for myself. And when this is just my opinion, but when you're in that space, it's a very selfish place to be.
Mm-hmm.
You're only concerned with yourself and how you're feeling and, all the wrongs everybody's doing to you. And so I wasn't listening to him and what he was going through. I wasn't being the encourager that God called me to be or the helpmate that he called me to be. And so I realized that. And now we're communicating with each other. We're talking about the hard stuff. We're growing. We're getting back into a really good place and we're fulfilling the needs of each other like we never even did in the beginning of our relationship, in the beginning of our marriage. And so it's just, that has been so wonderful. And then with my children, I've been prioritizing them above the other things that I used to think were more important. Like if I could just get the cleaning done, then I'll have more time for them. If I could just do this and that, and then I could have more time for them. No. So God tells me, no, they need you now. So I've just started prioritizing time with them. And those other things can wait. And I'm stewarding them. They can see the way that I'm living now and the changes in me. And there's not as much guilt that I used to have raising them. I'm also finding the joy in motherhood again. It's just, there's so much more peace in this home and joy in this home. And one of the other things is friendships. I think I sort of took my friendship for granted. It was always a lot of them reaching out to me. What can I do for you? How are you? Things like that. But I wasn't, reciprocating that. And I'm seeing how important friendship is. We're not supposed to do this life alone. We're supposed to, I can share things with my husband, great, but I have friends as well that I want to laugh with. I want to share things with. I want to talk with. Like friendships are very important. And so God's saying, hey, call that girlfriend when you think of her, ask her out to coffee, go to lunch with so-and-so, give her a call, talk for an hour, spill the things, and then do that for them as well. Be that for them as well. So to circle back to that question, what was the biggest shift? Yes, my heart changed, but then also within my heart change, it helped me respond better and steward the relationships that I have in my life better.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. That's like exactly what the Bold Blueprint is about. Very quickly, I was in burnout when God gave me the Bold Blueprint. He didn't call it that at the time, but he just gave me these four things, and it was all about relationships. The first
Mm.
relationship is with him. The other three are with your spouse, yourself, and others. And that's exactly
Wow.
what you're saying is I needed to know how to steward these relationships, but I first needed to know how to steward my relationship with God. And I love that you're
Mhm.
pointing that out because a lot of times when people hear about joining a program or a course or this group coaching, it is a program, but it's not to add
Yeah.
more to your plate. It's actually
Mm.
just to organize your plate and learn where the priorities on your plate
Yes.
go. And that in turn creates more peace and margin. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is one of the, resistance that people have is I don't have any time for that.
Yeah.
That's exactly why you need it, right?
Hmm.
Okay, let's get practical. Which tools, practice, or mindset from the Bold Blueprint has been the most impactful for you and why?
Oh, okay. So there's a lot of really good tools. Oh, so the breath prayer has been one of my favorite tools to use. And at first, getting used to using it like throughout the day, I would just use it sporadically. Whenever I was feeling overwhelmed or I was like, if I felt like I was about to blow, I would just find a place for a couple minutes, a couple seconds even. I just need a couple seconds. And I would inhale and say whatever came to mind. And I would exhale whatever came to mind. And so at first, I started implementing this. I was like a baby. It would go something like, inhale, Lord Jesus, help me. Exhale, I'm struggling. I need you. Just crying out to him. But
Mm-hmm.
now when I use it, I really like to implement scripture.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorites is I would inhale and say, create in me a clean heart, oh God. Exhale and say, renew in me a right spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That
that's a
one.
good
And
one.
I love that one every single day. I feel like I need it. And so doing the breath prayer, it just helped calm me. It helped focus me. It helped me direct my emotions into the right place. And it just gave me that minute I needed to really get my mind right, my heart right. And so that's been a really important tool for me to use. Okay, so the other really good tool that I love are the belief cards. These were a really good one because I had a lot of lies that I was telling myself and a lot of lies that Satan was telling me. And so to be able to identify that lie, to speak scripture over it, to replace that lie with
Mm-hmm.
truth and what God says about me and who God says that I am, and just allowed me to be able to see my identity in Christ and then walk in that identity. And that changed everything
Mm-hmm.
because instead of walking around saying, I'm just angry, no, I can walk around and say, I'm joyful
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thankful and I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
It just changes your perspective
Yeah.
about your life. I love that tool. It's just rewiring the brain.
Yeah.
And then probably my favorite habit that I created, which I use as another tool, was my time with God. My favorite thing to do every single morning and every day is grab a cup of coffee and grab my Bible and go out on the front porch and spend, it might be 5 minutes before the
Yeah.
kids wake up, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes I get whatever it is. I start my day off with him. And it just sets my entire day. I look forward to my day.
Yeah, I remember when you first started, and that's what you said. You're like, the main thing I want to change is having this habit that is spending time with God, but it's a habit. Like, I don't have to force myself to do it. It is
Mm-hmm.
something that I want to do. I wake up and do it. And you were literally in burnout to where you were exhausted on all levels. You were like, I can't get up
Oh,
before the
yes.
kids. I'm too
No.
tired. And then once they wake up, I'm laying on the couch and I don't want to get off the couch. I'm really exhausted. You were
Mm-hmm.
literally physically burnt out, mentally burnt out, and emotionally burnt out. And so I know other moms
Yeah.
feel that way. So you saying, hey, within 6 months, I was able to turn that around. I was able to create these habits. And now I feel joy and excitement and energy. And I'm ready to wake up and grab my coffee and go on my porch with my Bible. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's so hopeful.
Yeah. It's kind of unbelievable for me to think about too when I think about back then. And I know, so being a stay-at-home mom, even when you have, maybe your husband does a 9 to 5 and he comes home and then he helps you, it's still really difficult,
Yeah.
but I didn't have that. My
Yeah.
husband, he's a truck driver. at one point was doing cross country driving and would be gone days, weeks at a time. It was just me doing everything. And I think that's where I got to be just so overall
Yeah.
exhausted
Yeah.
is because I didn't have that help. I didn't have that break. I never had any breaks. I never,
Yeah.
it was like everybody's, oh, just take 10 minutes, take 20 minutes. I can't. You don't understand. I can't. How do I do that?
Well, how did you learn? How did you learn to build in rest breaks, build in, I mean, practically tell us how you learned how to build in that time with God in the morning. What did you do?
Yeah. So I think part of me saying that I don't have time, it was a lie
Yeah.
that I had to rewire in my brain
Yeah.
and say, no, it is time that you prioritize yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is okay because when you do that and you take care of yourself, you're not just taking care of yourself, you're taking care of everyone around you. You
Mm-hmm.
are going to be there for them more. And so I really had to shift my way of thinking. I had to start relying
Mm-hmm.
on other people more than I
Mm-hmm.
was,
Mm-hmm.
um, and ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big thing. I was trying to do it all myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always say to myself, no, I don't want to inconvenience everybody or anybody. I don't want to ask them last minute. And I had to tell myself, you know what? Ask. And if they say no, they say no. Like, leave it up to them. Again, a mind shift. And then being tired all the time. So it was because I had some time that I was alone and it was quiet and it was peaceful. And there was literally like no noise. And I would just sit in silence and I loved it. Or I would, binge watch some shows because I just didn't want to be in reality. So I had to change that. That was a bad habit that I had to change.
Mm-hmm.
Making myself go to bed earlier, I was able to wake up
Yeah.
earlier and feel more rested and to be able to spend that time with God. And so I had to create habits. It's so hard when you're in a place where you don't even want to try and create a habit. So I do think that is where this program was key for me because I didn't want to do it myself.
Yeah.
I didn't If it was just me trying to do it by myself,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have done it
Yeah.
because I didn't have anybody holding me accountable. Having the group of ladies that we were with that, I was like, I want to make them proud. They're doing
Yeah.
such a good job. I want to do a good job too. I want this to be a success. You being there, motivating us and guiding us. Oh my goodness, this program, I can't say enough good things about it.
The community aspect, let's touch on that for just a hot second. So obviously I am a coach. I do coaching one-on-one, but this Bold Blueprint group coaching program was set up in a way that, yes, you had that accountability built into the program. And like you're saying, you did not want to disappoint the other people in the program. They were doing their part. They were changing their habits. You were holding each other to do the work. Just to give some practicals here, we have group coaching every other week. And then we have a Voxer chat Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You can pop in there, anything you need. We can talk about it together as a community. We also have not Facebook, but we have a community that's set up within the program where you can have posts and you can post a thought that's not Monday through Friday, 9 through 5, or a picture or your homework, trackers that keep you up to par with your work. So you're not like feeling like you're lagging behind and everyone's changing and you're not, and you can't get these habits to break. It's like, no, there's so many tools and support set up that it's really hard, I think, to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to go back, the trackers are so good because you could just post it somewhere. You're going to see it every single day. And, oh, did I remember to do that? Oh, did I remember to do that? And it just keeps you on track. And being able to talk throughout the week, the homework you talked about, it's not hard. It was, at first I was like, oh no, how much time is this going to take me? Or, with this or that. It really is not a few minutes a day, like not even a day, like in the week. It's so easy to do.
Yeah.
It's not overwhelming. And I knew that you didn't want for moms, you didn't want them to feel even more overwhelmed with their already hectic schedule. So it's very easy to do. It's practical. Absolutely.
Okay. We'll wrap this up by this last question. So if another mom is listening right now and she's feeling stressed, she's burnt out, she's unsure, if she has the time for this, what would you want her to know?
I would say she doesn't have time to not do this. To the busy mom who's overwhelmed and like burnt out, barely hanging on, looks in the mirror, doesn't even recognize herself, I would say that now is the time to invest in yourself. Because when you invest in yourself, that means your relationship with God is going to grow. You're going to start to see yourself, how he sees you. start to identify yourself in Christ and who he says you are, and you're going to start walking in that identity, and you're going to have peace that replaces all those overwhelming feelings. So why wouldn't you take the time? It's so worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so powerful. Thank you for sharing your heart on that. And thank you for sharing your testimony, your transformation that you've experienced in the Bold Blueprint. I know the moms listening can relate. I am sharing their gratitude as well. So moms, if you're listening and realizing you need this shift and transformation that Renee has encountered herself, I want to invite you to check out the Bold Blueprint. It's my 6-month group coaching program designed to help you reclaim your time, release stress, rediscover peace in your caregiving journey, and steward your life to God's glory. That's like the most important thing. So you don't have to stay stuck in survival mode. There's a better way to live this one precious life that we get. So you can learn more at www.theshanwright.com/bold. Renee, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking this time. We know it's precious, and we're so grateful that you shared it with us.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Wellness Warrior, I pray that blessed you. And if so, it would bless me big if you would write a 5-star review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Not only would this make me super happy, but it will allow for others to find this show too. Also, I love to chat over on Instagram, so make sure to take a screenshot, share to your Instagram stories, and tag me at the Shan Wright, so I can see it and we can keep chatting and bring other moms to chat with us. Until we get to chat again, mama friend, may the Lord's face shine upon you and give you peace.